Russell Wilson has spent his entire career being the most inauthentic person possible. It's like, so when you traffic in inauthenticity, Charles Robinson, like, how are people supposed to believe you when it comes time to believe you? Like, I don't think anybody believes that Russell Wilson, whose agent, I remember we argued about this, when his agent put out a list of the places that he hypothetically liked to be traded to, we knew it was over in Seattle. How is anybody supposed to believe that he did not try to get them fired, given how much influence he then received in Denver?
Right. Yeah, it puts things, now he's denied this, right? Okay, so.
In fairness, he's denied it, right. That's our job as journalists. He has on the record denied it.
Yes, he has on the record denied it. And I always call him the vending machine interview, because every single time you ask him a question, it feels like you're like F3.
Yeah.
Whatever the prescribed response is.
Right. Go Hawks. Let's ride.
Yes. Let's ride. So I will say this. I had not heard this. I had not heard that he tried to get John Schneider and Pete Carroll fired. Now, that said, I think it fits, and here's why. The amount of vitriol that has come out of that organization about Russ since he left stopped making sense at some point. It's like, why are they still going after this guy? Why are they still throwing shade? Why are they still leaking things about, well, he didn't want to wear wristbands, guys in the locker room didn't like him, all the stuff about the additional personnel around him, the whole reality TV. He was more concerned about, selling a reality TV show than he was, playing quarterback in Seattle. At some point, I'm like, why? Like, why? How many times are they going to run over this guy? Well, this actually makes it make sense to me. If you take a shot at the king, don't miss, right? And this is like you're taking a shot at two kings. You weren't going to get Pete Carroll fired. You weren't going to get John Schneider fired. As a matter of fact, neither of those guys could probably get the other guy fired. But you think you're going to get both fired? I mean, it's just crazy. So I know he's denied it, but whether
it's easy to believe.
Not, it's easy to believe, and I think that Pete Carroll probably heard this and he believes it. It makes sense to me, the things that Pete has said about Russ. It makes sense to me the way he reacted after that first game against Russ when Seattle beat the Broncos at home. Now it makes sense, because I was like, this should be far more amicable than it really is. But in this prism, I would hold a grudge if I was them.
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, I don't buy it just because, well, for a lot of reasons that you already stated, Michael. But in his response, Pete was like a father to me. That exchange between them at the end of the game, that didn't look like a father and a son. It looked like very cold. Two people who were not fond to see each other.
I mean, people fight their fathers all the time. I'm just saying, that doesn't mean anything.
Touche. Meanwhile, so our annual, by the way, Charles, Natalie, I don't know if you know this. You do know this because you've seen Charles on the show plenty of times. Charles is the commissioner of our Super League, our 20-team fantasy football league. It's the best fantasy football league in America. Charles knows that I changed the name of my fantasy football team name probably, once or twice a week, maybe at minimum. The inspiration just hits. Today, I've decided to name my team, hold me to this, Darkness Retreat. That is going to be the name of my team next year. So, can you shed any light, Charles, on what, if any, light Aaron Rodgers saw in this cave, and when is this going to end? When is he going to decide whether to make $60 million from Green Bay or to ask to be traded to New York or wherever?
The one interesting thing I think that's come out of this is, and he said this on the Pat McAfee show when he was talking about other people reporting what was going on with him. His circle is smaller now. It definitely is smaller. Last year at this time, it was so noisy around him, and it was not hard to find out a lot of things that he was saying, things he was sharing with teammates, things he was sharing with people close to him. That's changed. It's a lot harder to figure out exactly what's going on in his mind right now. Now, that said, the person that I have talked to probably the most about him basically has said this is more existential than people are really understanding. Like, people are focusing it through a football prism, but the way it was described to me was he's definitely getting to this point that Tom Brady got to, that, that quarterbacks get to, where they're sitting there going, okay, well, now what? Like, what's going to happen? What am I going to do? Like, what realistically, what am I doing now? What am I about?
A little early midlife crisis type thing.
Yeah. So it's like he doesn't have the TV thing there. Like, Tom had the TV thing. Peyton Manning had TV commercials, whatever else was out there for him. But realistically, what does Aaron really have outside of the Pat McAfee show? Like, in terms of like how we absorb him, like where we see him moving out as a person. And so that's just kind of how it was described to me. Like, you guys, like this person said, you guys are focusing this all through football and the $60 million and the Packers, but it's actually maybe a little bit bigger than that. And
there's a human being here, is what you're saying? There's an actual, despite how he comes off, there's an actual human being here having first world problems, but problems nonetheless, dealing with the reality that the end may be near for him, not just in Green Bay, but in this chapter of his life.
Yeah, I think there is. And those darkness retreats, by the way, I don't know if you've seen the video. There's like a YouTube video of a guy who did 5 days. It did not look, it looked like horrible. Like, the guy was like sleeping like 16 hours and he didn't know if he had slept like 3 hours or a full day.
That happens to me all the time. I once went on a cruise, speaking of first world stuff, I went on a cruise, and if you've ever been on a cruise, the inside cabins are cheaper because ain't no windows. Dog, I fell asleep on a cruise. I swear I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know where I was. I mean, it freaked me the hell out. You know what I'm saying?
Why would you go on a cruise? I mean, like, that's not even, I mean, why you
have an inside stateroom? Why did I go on a cruise?
No, never.
The fact that I can't swim. Well, I mean, the Disney cruise was amazing. I highly recommend a Disney cruise. I ain't with that company no more, but the Disney cruise is awesome. That's number one. Number two, the inside stateroom was cheaper. It wasn't my idea. Bad idea. Don't ever do an inside stateroom. Point is, me and darkness is like the idea of being in a cave, in a hobbit's cave or wherever the hell he was, freaks me out just talking about it. He definitely probably got some kind of clarity. That's for damn sure.
Well, you come into the combine for a week, right? For the combine, that's a darkness retreat.
I am.
So,
what were you about to say, Natalie?
Yeah, Charles, I get that he is a human and we have to think about, who he is and all of that kind of stuff. I really do. But he ultimately has to make a decision at some point, about football. So any sense, what is your gut telling you what that decision may be?
Well, the interesting thing about this is Bob McGinn, who is he was a longtime Packers, he's covered the Packers.
I read that.
Came out and said, look, like they're like ready to be done with them. I will say this, inside the organization, there are definitely individuals who are like, I think there's what I call like 2 points of frustration. The first point of frustration is that they're even here, like dealing with this, because I think they thought when they did the contract, right. I think they thought when they did the contract, they're like, this will be resolved quickly. It'll be an obvious decision. It's not going to be a drag out scenario. Literally, when they signed the deal, they looked at how the money was set up and they're like, well, we won't have to go through this extended thing again. And so there's this frustration that they're going through it again. The second point of frustration is that they can't express it. They can't say anything about it. They just have to sit there with their hands folded and go, yeah, Aaron's taking his time and we're fine with it, which I don't think is true with everyone in the organization. I think there are people who are definitely frustrated with this. And, I think what his decision's going to be, I don't know. I mean, I wish I could tell. He's wanted elsewhere. I will say that. And I think there are certain individuals inside the Packers who want him. There are certain individuals inside the Packers who go, it's time. Like, let's just move on. Let's get the show rolling.
They got a guy going into year 4 and a 5th-year option to pick up in Jordan Love. Well, you said that he's wanted elsewhere. Are there people, anybody in New York, the entire league, New York, and the entire league in general, but New York in particular, is there anybody within the Jets organization with any reservations about whether or not they truly want to be in the Aaron Rodgers business, given all that it comes with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are people there that have reservations. Like, look, I think you have ownership that they're very enticed by the idea of Aaron Rodgers coming in and quickly becoming like, they think, hey, we're a Super Bowl contender. Like, he walks in here, we're a Super Bowl contender. You know, coaching wise, I think even in the front office, it's like, okay, theoretically, we're a Super Bowl contender. We don't know what the chemistry is going to be like when he walks in this locker room with a lot of young guys. We don't know that, you know, there's this assumption that he's going to walk in, flip a switch the way Tom Brady did in Tampa, and everything's going to be great. It's not a 1-for-1 at all. And by the way, Aaron's also not bringing anyone with him the way that Tom did. Remember, Tom brought, whatever you want to say about Antonio Brown, it was a big deal, the role Antonio Brown played.
Rob Gronkowski.
Rob Gronkowski, another guy. And also, those were two individuals who helped Tom ultimately implement what you needed to do in practice, what you need to do every day to become a Super Bowl level team. Aaron's he's not doing it. I mean, he didn't even want to do that in Green Bay with some of the young guys. He was frustrated. He's not going to sit there and like coddle, and he wanted to play with his old guys, you know, and you go into the Jets, and there's a lot of young guys there. There's no guarantee he walks in and everybody just goes, oh, Aaron, you know, this is so obvious what we were missing here. So I would not say it's this 100%. If they put it to a vote, I think it would be a split vote. Now, I think the consensus is they'd love to have him, but I don't think it's unanimous.
Well, and then you have him for one. Then you're talking about 1 year. I mean, what next year? And forget about whatever contract he works out with the Jets. But do you really want to get in bed with somebody year to year? If you're this, you know, I know the Jets are desperate to make the playoffs. I get it, and they got a young defense and they're ready to win now. But I don't know. It's just too much drama for me. They've already been down this road with a former Packers quarterback.
I would bet you it wouldn't be 1 year unless he was miserable. I think if he went and he was just absolutely miserable and felt like it was a bad decision, then maybe it would be a 1 year situation. I think if he went and they had success and he was enjoying himself and he experienced New York in the kind of way that you hope you would experience it,
well,
most players often don't get to experience it.
I wonder if the Jets are going to tell Aaron Rodgers, if you come here and win, you'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I mean,
I can't get over the Derek Carr thing. Like, you ain't got a lie to kick it, Craig. Like, come on. Oh my God. That's the funniest thing I've heard all week. And it ain't even so much about Derek Carr. I like Derek Carr, contrary to what some people may think. I do like him. But he ain't nobody's first ballot Hall of Famer.
Come on.
Yeah, and the Jets going to that, just worry about this year. Worry about.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I mean, are we talking? You'd have to have the second half of his career. Who's the second half? Like, I'm trying to figure out how we can.
You're trying to figure out how it would actually happen.
Yeah, I'm like, have we ever seen anyone in the NFL who had a solid, like a good start to their career, but then had a second half to their career that completely
made him a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who that
first
is.
Ballot? Like, you want to try to discredit the Hall of Fame? I mean, listen, if he wins in New York, if Carr goes to New York and wins in New York, he'll never pay for a meal again. We can say that much, but first ballot Hall of Fame? Come on, man.
Type of stuff. This is the type of stuff why Dion's like, we need a Hall of Fame in the Hall of Fame. He's like, we need to start separating out.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate you, brother.
See you on Monday. Take care.
All right, brother.
Bye, Charles.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.